We're live.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, well,
Welcome to the Chaotic Bisexual Text Study. I am Pastor Abel Arroyo. I use pronouns like they and he.
Pastor Matthew Zananik, and I use pronouns like he and they. We're so glad you're here on this wonderful July evening, afternoon time here in the so-called United States on Turtle Island. How are you today?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I am asking.
I'm like, who are you talking to? I'm
And the
okay. It's like I'm in Phoenix and it's gross outside. It's 115 degrees and it's not even the hottest time of the year yet. So you can imagine how I'm feeling about people being like, global warming is not a thing. And I'm like, I'm literally rendering my own fat right here. Like, what are you talking about?
you know
No.
what? As Peggy Hill says, but with the inclusive translation of Peggy Hill, Phoenix is a testament to humanity's arrogance.
Oh my god.
End quote.
Yes. So that's the mood today. I did a Costco run with mom. So very, just very basic stuff. It's been good. What about you?
Oh, I'm visiting my mom and stepdad at the beach. I had a very difficult day of laying out in the sun and putting on sunscreen
Good for
and
you.
then swimming in the sea.
Oh, that sounds fantastic though.
It was truly fantastic, and I ate steamed crabs for dinner, and it was just a lovely time with my family, and I'm happy and tired, and I don't know, my mom had thoughts and opinions, TM, about this Bible story, so I'm leaning into that.
Oh my gosh, I want to hear what Carol has to say about this. You should invite her to watch right now. Unlike comment.
She said she doesn't know if this will be her appearance, but she likes to pop in and out just to keep us on our toes.
Well, we love a queen, so
We do.
okay, so let's start with some prayer.
Let's pray. God of stewardship and attention, you model how to listen and care for everyone in this household. Help us embrace your peace in the midst of our turmoil. In the name of your wisdom. Amen.
Amen. And our Bible reading comes from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, 38 to 42. So it's fairly brief. Now, as they went on their way, he entered a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. She had a sister named Mary who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to what he was saying, but Martha was distracted by her many tasks. So she came to him and asked, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her then to help me. But the Lord answered, Martha, Martha, you are worried and distracted by many things. There is need of only one thing. Mary has chosen the better part, which will not be taken away from her. Holy wisdom, holy word.
Here we are. Here we are, Mary and Martha.
Mary and Martha. And I love that Jesus is like, Martha, mind your business.
Relaxation.
Chill out. Like, okay, this is your thing, but it's not your sister's thing. And that's okay.
Yeah, I'm less of a doer and more of a listener, but like sometimes I feel for Martha. I don't know, there's no like hot take there. There's just like I don't have a mind for that. I like to slow down. It feels like I don't know. It just feels like everyone's moving so fast lately.
Hmm. I don't know. I just like it worries me to hear so many of our colleagues be like, I just have so many things to do and I'm working 60 hours a week. And I'm like, okay, but why?
Yeah.
And this is not being cynical, but like, why are you letting yourself get burnout? Is this victim blaming? I might be problematic and cancelable today.
I mean, it's 115 degrees there, so
No, but like I do feel like, this like hustle culture is like, oh, we need to do things. We need to do things, whatever things are, instead of like taking the time to reflect on what we should be reflecting on.
yeah.
So like I do have a bone to pick with that culture, the Martha culture, let's say.
Like, if you wanna go fast, go alone, but if you wanna go far, we go together.
I don't know, because like you can go fast and together, but it's about, I don't know, for me it's more about like, that and I'm part of that, like that obsession of like getting it perfect instead of getting it right.
Hmm,
And there's a for me there's like a substantial difference. Like perfection has more to do with like performance, um rather than results.
ooh, that's a lot to take in there. Performance more than results. Like, perfectionism and, like, thinking something's perfect is, like, more like being 100% confident that you're right and that the product that you have, the project is complete fully. But, like, to be fully complete would mean that, like, we'd still not have anything to learn, but we always have something to learn.
I mean, also the fact that perfection and those standards are like antithetical to the gospel. And two, uh it's also, I don't know, like I'm just tired. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just have to say, like, we don't need to do all of this.
Well, Jess, hi, Jess.
Hi, Jess.
1 out of 10, a bajillion out of 10, truly. Yes, I think it is victim plenty, blaming in many cases, but no one but us is going to give us boundaries. But it is also is way more effective when boundary building happens in community.
Yes. So like I think that's a good thing to point out, because like they like, even though like in this story like you have a set of siblings, like it I don't know, it gives me the impression that they are not in community, that this is like that each one has like their own expectations, and uh they're looking for their own thing, which
Mm.
is, like we do this all the time. But then I don't know, like I also relate to Martha. Like it's
Yeah.
like we need to get it done, we do the thing.
My mom was sharing with me, like, when my grandfather, her father died, my maternal grandfather died, which was my last of my grandparents, died a few years ago. Oh, and today was my grand's birthday, my maternal grandmother, who
Oh,
died
happy
almost
birthday.
20 years ago. That's her birthday. She'd be 100. Shout out Connie Wolverton Moeller. Anyway, my mom lived closest and was the most functional of, like, I don't know, lived closest. My uncle was a Vietnam vet, and she would take care of my grandfather. She also had medical training, and so she'd go and take care of him. My aunt lived in New Jersey, and
You're
so
mumbling.
oh, I was talking really fast. My aunt, I was like, I shouldn't spill the entire bag. My aunt lived far away, and so my mom is caring for my grandfather and working full time, and like me and my sister are in college or in seminary, and like I think after my grandfather died, this text came up, and my mom like heard a sermon from our church's deacon, and it really spoke to her because my mom had been feeling resentful at my aunt for not um, being able to do as much. And my mom was like, part of that resentment is like a reflection on myself because like we're just given what we're given and we need to focus on like what's really important, and what's really important is our relationship with each other. And I think my grandfather's biggest fear was that like we would stop being a family after he died in many ways. And so I think Martha like teaches us to just slow down and listen to our hearts and listen to what's really important. And like being Mary is teaching us that, and Martha in many ways is always reminding us. Like I feel like we shame Martha at the like for Mary, but
At
it's
the
rather
expense
I
of,
feel
yeah.
like they exist in conversation with each other.
Yeah, because like it's also a matter of like family dynamics, right?
Yeah.
Like there are needs that need to be met, and Martha is the one who is stepping up to meet those needs. And that's very relatable to me in terms of like my mom, because she's always like the one who is early first and late and last, you know, like she's the one who's like doing the thing. She's the one who has to be strong and committed and has to be grounded all the time. And just like, why can't mom just be, you know, for a day? Why can't mom just like not have to take care of everyone else in the family emotionally? um but like, even though we live in a different country from the rest of my family, which like they live in Peru, like she still feels the need, you know, of like having to mediate a bunch of conversations that she doesn't have to mediate. And I'm just like, yeah, that's the family dynamics. Like that's what we are conditioned to adopt as our roles. Like for the longest time I was an only child, so like that and that's the trauma, you know what I mean? Like it's just one of those things where like you learn to deal and ignore and dissociate. And like I knew what dissociation was before I knew it was a thing. uh which is not a great thing to know, but like here we are. And like you cope with your anxiety and your stress and your burdens however you can. So like I don't think I'm here to judge one and celebrate the other, but say that, and yet in the midst of that tension, there's Christ.
And I feel like especially in this like US culture, right, of like grind culture, like we're all like centered around this Martha glorification, and Jesus enters in.
You mean Mary?
No, no, Martha. Like Martha, we're glorifying Martha for doing all the work, and we're like, oh,
Oh,
we
okay,
find
okay,
it
okay.
relatable because we're in like this grind culture, and Jesus is entering into this moment and saying, Martha, there is nothing that you can do to work yourself out of this situation you found yourself in. I am Jesus of Nazareth and the Messiah. Listen, it's a confusing story, but like maybe like it's relax, like relax. We fed 5,000. Relax. It'll be okay. And I think the more I rest in like just like letting I don't want to say like letting go and letting God, but I do want to say that at this.
No, but like I think this does reflect that if we were to impose an economy on the kingdom of God, like it's definitely an economy of abundance, right? Where we don't have to hustle, when we don't like need to be on top of the business 24/7, and we can just be with Jesus.
Oh my god, wait. Sorry, I've been like my favorite ecosystem, brackish water marsh. 14 bajillion out of 10. Anyway, I was canoeing. Not canoeing, kayaking. I was taking a little kayak paddle with my family. And then there are like these seagrasses, right? Or marsh grasses. And they're really cool because along like their root systems are all of these mollusks, like clams and oysters and mussels. And then there's like these grasses, right, that are out and like creating this landmass of trapping the sand and the interlocking roots. And then there are birds that make their nests there, and it smells like bird poop. But like the bird poop fertilizes the grasses, and then like all of nature eats off of the mollusks and everything. And there's like bottom feeders and crabs. And if it was really healthy, there'd probably even be sturgeon, which are like the coolest thing. But there's an economy that's circular, right? And everything has a purpose and a moment.
Okay.
You were wondering where
I was wondering, where is this Caucasian moment leading to? Like,
it's
you
circular
delivered. Good for you.
economics. It's an economy of abundance. It's right in front of us. God's like, hey, relax.
I mean, but it's really hard to relax right now. So like I don't think like actually just saying relax sounds
Mm.
very condescending. Like when someone tells me to relax, that's the last thing I do. Like basically out of spite.
I feel like, I need permission to rest sometimes. Like, you're enough. That's enough.
So like so for me at least, I think that the reframing of the of an economy of abundance is more helpful than a Jesus saying, just relax, just chill, everything is fine. Because like objectively things haven't changed. So like how can I relax when like the world is on fire?
Yeah. Well, in many ways, Jesus is like answering this question too, because like, what is he teaching Mary and Martha? And like, we just have to go back in the Bible, TM, and reflect on, what has Jesus been teaching up to this point, and what is he emphasizing, which is like, once again, continuance of like this tradition of the inherent worth of our human life and the inherent abundance of the creation and this need. I'm struggling for the verbiage, but like that God is emerging on the margins to like challenge those who have built walls and pushed us to the margins. And I'm like, who are Mary and Martha? And what are they doing? Why is Jesus with them? And what
Hmm.
would it feel like to be in his presence? And what was Martha cooking for him? I don't know. There's just like, this has definitely gone on a tangent. But it's also one of which, like, it's not just relaxation that Jesus is teaching. Jesus is teaching something much deeper. But that a part of this journey is rest too, because even God rests.
Hmm. Yeah, that's it. That's the show, everyone. Take a break. God said.
It's in the Bible, not the straight bull, but the
With the
Bible.
Bible, right on brand.
It's been truly 6 weeks since I've made that joke. Maybe longer. 6 weeks plus. Truly 6 weeks plus. Timer restarts.
I don't know. Like I don't know. And then I think about like queer families, like chosen families and how we interact with each other, and how even though we're chosen family, like we can be radically different from one another in performance, not in values, most of the time, I will say.
Kudos to everyone taking care of plants out there.
Let me
I
let me
hear
tell
how
you.
you're
I have become a plant
Is that a
dead.
snake plant?
Yes.
What's her name?
I haven't named them. I have three of them, and I decided that I needed, some life and I don't know, just like nicer air in my studio.
Oh, the Gorgons.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone.
Oh my god, there's three of them. You're right. Oh, that was perfect.
Hey, hey, hey. I guess, like, I feel like that's the message, though. I don't know what's the good news here.
Oh my god, what's the gospel already? We're not even at 20 minutes.
It's fine. We've had 40-minute episodes. We've been 10 over. We can be 10 That's
Uh,
the episode. That's truly it.
that really is the
That's
episode though.
it.
Like it for well, I yeah, for me it's Jesus coming to space and being like, well, there is this economy of abundance. You can allow yourself to not do all of this. Come and bask in the presence. I like I would love that.
Whoa. Just I just I haven't read this yet. We're going in blind. I think an important part of this convo inherent in this story is the discomfort I have in a masked person admonishing a femme person for not resting. Like, I'm sorry, bruh, you're literally the one with the systemic power to make it possible for her to rest. So, hmm, you know, we were talking about this at dinner, and that's one thing my mom was talking about how growing up at Thanksgiving after dinner, all of the men would be watching football and drinking, and all of the women would be in the kitchen cleaning up. And I think about, like, how all, like, in a lot of families and a lot of patriarchal cultures, our own included, like, men just sit around while the women, like, are cooking and cleaning. And I think about, like, what does that say?
What does that say to you? Because there is a whole cultural component there.
Ooh, like, both of us are masked people too, and there Jesus is masked person. So it's like, what do we do? And I'm like, listen, if it takes like Martha needing to rest for you to like wash some dishes, then like wash some dishes and tell a story. I don't know. That's me pulling for air. But I do think it's an important point to remember. It's like the Abrahamic tradition is a patriarchal tradition, and we're hearing this from a men's perspective.
Hmm.
I
But
really
then, like, how, like, as queer people, because, like, first of all, fuck the patriarchy, too, non binary, like, how do we, like, how do I reconcile, uh, with those narratives when, like, like we talk about the binary and we talk about the patriarchy and we talk about like all this violence that has been exerted over femme people, and then here we are in 2022 and we are, as a global culture, we are rediscovering um the expansiveness of gender. So like what does that mean for that? I think would be something interesting to explore.
whoa. Sorry, this is good. Like, I'm here. There's new research coming out around how virtual assistants like Siri, Alexa, etc., are teaching children the way we get things done in our days by ordering a faceless woman. The results are not great. Honestly, yes. Everyone, like, the implicit bias in AI constructions and AI systems, and like the data permissions available to them, and like rumor has it that Siri is like the most advanced of all of them. I don't know. I just know some
It
people.
is. It is actually. You are absolutely spot on that. But also the fact that like most countries don't have female voice virtual assistants by default.
Huh.
By default is a United States feature. You can choose a female voice. By default is a US thing.
Oh,
That
dude.
tells you something.
Wait, they don't give us a choice. Oh, the
No.
illusion of choice. Everywhere else, they make you choose. Wait, Amy Diller wrote something also. Just I also wonder about the story aspect we retell and remember. Martha was one of the most devoted and faithful followers of Jesus. All we tell is this whole cultural piece of don't be a Martha, don't be a Mary, sit with Jesus. We know that Martha declared Jesus the Son of God and the Messiah at the death of Lazarus. And we also, at the foot of the cross, perhaps we also need to preach that we are more than our worst, least faithful. I'm crying. That's
No, but like that's again, that's that reframing of the like abundance economy. Like this is not about doing or not doing. It goes beyond that.
yeah. And, like, the don't be a Mar it's like the Mary versus Martha thing is, like, not the whole point of the story either. Like, it
And
like
I don't think Jesus is being like confrontative about it either.
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? It's just saying like
it's just so
there is
poignant.
enough
I'm just so grateful to Jess and Amy for, like, offering these
for naming those things because the ignorance here.
truly. Oh my god, for we could talk about how the divide and conquer. Boom.
Amy
That's
Diller,
the
you should come, and Jez, you should come to the show sometime because like that commentary was very much needed.
oh, we needed it. Oh, well, I'm grateful to the spirit for this, to be honest. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're gonna
What is your gospel statement?
oh god. Honestly, we are more than our worst moments. Amy Diller preached to me in this moment, and I celebrate that. Like that's just I needed to hear that in a way that like I haven't heard that in a while. So and that is the point of the story too. It's just like why we read it as a criticism. It's a gentle invitation. And it's in that tension with what Jess is offering. What are the systems in place that make that like that
Mhm.
responsibility to care for women and femmes? Oof, I don't know. What about you?
I already said.
Oh,
You asked me at like 20 minutes
I
in.
know. Can you reiterate because I might have forgotten.
It's okay. You can rewatch the show. Boost our views.
Amen. You know what?
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. That was lively. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Jess, and thank you, Amy, for sharing your wisdom with us. Because that's how we learn, just like being in conversation. So thanks.
Shit. Welcome to my life. Anyway,
Yeah,
I can't complain. I'm at the beach.
right, exactly. So go be at the beach. I will be rendering my fat here in the Arizona desert.
Thoughts and prayers. Take care, everyone. Drink
Bye,
water.
everyone. Yes, and your meds.
And also, Patreon's coming soon and very
Oh
soon.
my god, you keep saying that. I don't believe it, man.
It exists.
Bye, everyone.